Solomon Islands Independent Commission Against Corruption will receive a dedicated budget, recognizing the important role in promoting integrity and accountability. The Pacific Labour Mobility Annual Meeting 2025 official opening. The Honiara City Council shuts down the Point Cruz Clothing Market. And in sports, Solomon Islands national senior men's football team prepares for the Prime Minister's Cup 2025. Hello and welcome. I'm Esala Nongebatu. Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele says the 2026 national budget is expected to be finalized and submitted to Parliament. Speaking during a press conference today, Tuesday, Prime Minister Manele says the 2026 national budget will be submitted subsequently for the scrutiny of the Public Accounts Committee. Parliament resumes on the 24th of November.
During this time, the 2026 national budget is expected to be finalized and submitted to Parliament and subsequently for the scrutiny of the Public Accounts Committee. As you know, this is an important part of our democratic process to ensure transparency, accountability, and the responsible use of public funds. This period also allows the government to focus on key policy and governance matters that affect our people. And as you know, there has also been a number of regional meetings happening.
During the Prime Minister's press conference today, Tuesday, Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele made the announcement that the government recognizes the important role the Solomon Islands Independent Commission Against Corruption has in promoting integrity and accountability. Therefore, the 2026 national budget will include a dedicated budget head to support the Commission's operations and independence.
The recruitment process for the Director General of the Solomon Islands Independent Commission Against Corruption, SIICAC, has now reached its final stage. All interviews have been completed, and the recruitment panel is finalizing documentation for submission to the Justice and Legal Service Commission for consideration. We expect the announcement of the Director General soon. The government recognizes the important role of SIICAC in promoting integrity and accountability, and the 2026 national budget will include a dedicated budget head to support the Commission's operations and independence. The SIICAC budget and operations will no longer come under the office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
The Pacific Labour Mobility Annual Meeting 2025 official opening took place today in Honiara, Solomon Islands. The brief opening ceremony marks the commencement of proceedings this week from Tuesday 4th until Thursday 6th November and is held at the Aquatic Centre in Honiara. Lisa Osifelo reports.
Thank you very much.
The Pacific Labour Mobility Annual Meeting 2025 officially opened this morning, Tuesday, in Honiara, Solomon Islands, to mark the commencement of discussions and inclusive dialogue. The meeting brings together key labour mobility stakeholders from across the Pacific and beyond, with the guest of honour, Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele. In delivering his keynote address, welcomed delegates and says Solomon Islands is honoured to host the event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Labour Mobility Annual Meeting unites our governments, employers, workers, and partners under one shared purpose, and that is to ensure that labour mobility delivers real and lasting development for Pacific people. For Solomon Islands, labour mobility is not just an economic policy. It is a lifeline of opportunity. These have been referenced in the midterm review report of our National Development Strategy 2016 to 2035. Thousands of Solomon Islanders have found meaningful work abroad, gained new skills, supported their families, and returned home with renewed hope and experience.
Hosting the Pacific Labour Mobility Annual Meeting 2025 is a collective effort between the Government of Solomon Islands and the Pacific PACER Plus Implementation Unit. The PACER Plus arrangement on labour mobility established the Pacific Labour Mobility Annual Meeting as the premier regional forum to advance labour mobility cooperation. Since its inception in 2017, following the signing of the PACER Plus agreement, has provided a platform for inclusive dialogue and strengthened collaboration across the Pacific labour mobility ecosystem.
I think yesterday was the Pacific Caucus, where the Pacific countries come together and discuss issues in relation to labour mobility, which is really important. Gives them an opportunity to have a free, frank discussion amongst other Pacific countries. So it's a really useful session for countries to express some of their issues or any concerns that they may have in relation to labour mobility. So it's a really good opportunity for everyone to come together. And the usual things that are discussed, in relation to welfare of the workers, reintegration back into communities. I think those are the important things for a lot of countries. Is when workers travel to Australia and New Zealand, they're well looked after and they're taken care of. So I think those are the key things. And also obviously some of the economic benefits from labour mobility and what it can do for people in the Pacific.
Over the next 3 days, participants will discuss practical strategies to improve recruitment processes, strengthen partnership and reintegration initiatives. Today marks the official opening of the Pacific Labour Mobility Annual Meeting 2025, with the theme Sustainable Reintegration Begins with Fair and Effective Recruitment. Now, this year's meeting holds an estimate of around 300 delegates who will for the next couple of days deliberate on issues faced by workers in the scheme and ways in which the scheme can be enhanced to maximize the program and the benefits to each and every country represented here at the meeting. This meeting is hosted by the Government of Solomon Islands with PACER Plus Implementation Unit. From Honiara, Lisa Osifello, Tavuli News.
Today, Tuesday, is the opening of the Disaster Risk Reduction Ministerial Meeting in Palau. Our reporter, Jeremy Guao, is in Palau with the update.
Now, the Pacific Risk Reduction Ministerial Meeting officially opened today here in Coro in Palau. Now, it brings together environmental and climate change ministers along with national disaster management directors from across the region. Now, for Solomon Islands, this meeting is important, not only as founding member since the first gathering in Nadi, Fiji in 2022, but also to show strong political support for disaster risk reduction efforts. Now, ranked as second most vulnerable country in the Pacific, Solomon Islands is keen to ensure that discussion here reflects its own challenges, from data gaps to disaster risk financing, which remains a key focus under the Nadi Declaration. NDMO Director Jonathan Tafiriki shared insights with the media earlier today. Let's take a look.
We are fortunate that this year we launched the National Disaster Risk Financing Strategy Block Country, where part law one fala priority outcome law Nadi Declaration. So country blame him pursue the agenda of disaster for quite a long time, and we got a rich experience law managing disasters since we got independence 1978. So from that time him help him guide him the way we approach him disasters law country blame selva.
Now, day one wrapped up with productive discussions and also recommendations setting the tone for tomorrow's deliberation. Now, also tomorrow, leaders will also tour Palau's new humanitarian warehouse, groundbreaking, the second of its kind in the Pacific. Now, reporting from Coro, Palau, I'm Jeremy Guao for Toli News.
The Honiara City Council has shut down the Point Cruz Clothing Market today, Tuesday. Vendors at the former Guadalcanal Province headquarters were ordered to close their businesses. Tavuli News spoke to the Director of Honiara City Council Law Enforcement, Robert Madeo, who confirmed that HCC officers arrived this morning to enforce the directive based on legal advice from the Council administration, business activities within the Point Cruz Clothing Market area.
It happened this morning, down Point Cruz. Officers brought me law enforcement. I was executing one notice where I'm sent go this was owner place here on number 27 last week, October. For immediately closed him down now. This was a market where him doing within inside the area blame. Reason now is number one, him no got a license for running a market, and number two, what inside the area I go selling bill nuts, cigarette, drink beer. These things him should not allow, and him running a private market without the consent or authority from the Honiara City Council. So on that law number 27 last week, I council him issue a notice for immediately close him down now. That's for the market. And yesterday officers blow me go down and revisiting place and awareing people that I think him custom time now for people to close down. But this morning, during time I want to go down, but people still remain there. That is why now I'm taking up this action for move him out from that place and execute him this order from the City Council. Law market ordinance now him stating he must get him a consent or approval from the council so that you can do him that one. Mostly you may him no hide no more. You may witness him no more. There are illegal activities too going on inside that area during time what operators him. I'm been on for such time now, so some time already. So that is why now City Council have taken up this action based on that one.
The closure aims to restore order and compliance with city regulations. Affected vendors must vacate immediately. No injuries or arrests were reported. The council has not announced a reopening timeline or relocation options.
Just to our public, this situation have contained no more. Nothing what by him happen. Just appeal back to those where you do the market law there. You refrain from that area now. You stay out, leave him, place here for him clear. Otherwise, City Council by him no back down, and by monitor him. Suppose any activity continuing law there, me will by still getting you down. So just for letting me miss our public, refrain from that area. Stay out and no go back inside mall or place here.
The Solomon Islands National University today hosted a seminar featuring award-winning chef Robert Oliver, founder of the Pacific Islands Food Revolution. The seminar brought together students, lecturers, and local food advocates to discuss how Pacific communities can reclaim and strengthen traditional food systems and food sovereignty in the Pacific Islands.
The definition of food sovereignty is when a community or a culture controls the food systems, the production systems, all the food systems that define them culturally. So that's localizing. That's why we talk about local food all the time. That's food sovereignty. And food sovereignty exists in education, in people's lives every day, what they eat, the tourism industry, all the sectors where food is. It's prisons, universities, schools, all of that together. When it's localized, that's when a country has food sovereignty. And that's my dream for the Solomons. And I know that the Centre for Island Futures has the same dream. So fingers crossed we're going to make this happen.
Director of the New Institute Center for Islands Futures, Mr. Edgar Pollard, told Tavuli News that one of the key focuses of the center is to promote traditional island foods. He said food is connected to many aspects of life, including health, agriculture, and culture, and highlighted the significance of having Robert Oliver be part of this important dialogue.
There's many opportunities you may get inside the food space. And one of the main outcomes out of this week and coming below Robert is how can we, what the strategy blame in terms of food systems. By me try for strategy, by me need for target and policy, or do you need to work with them education, or other different sectors involved. So I think out of this fella session today and the meetings throughout the week with them different partners, stakeholders, and the masterclass, hopefully some ideas and strategy and even a vision for what now Wakablo Island Food and specifically what Naba Center for Island Futures as part of Solomon Island National University, what Naba him doing in this fella space of foods.
The seminar underscores the importance of revitalizing local food systems as part of a broader effort to strengthen food sovereignty and improve public health in the Solomon Islands. At the Pacific Risk Reduction Ministerial Meeting, Director for National Disaster Management, Jonathan Matamaru, highlighted the importance of establishing the Pacific Humanitarian Warehousing Program in the Solomon Islands. He noted that this initiative formed part of the discussions and outcomes of the first Pacific Risk Reduction Ministerial Meeting. Director Matamaru added that talks are currently underway regarding the implementation of the program in the Solomon Islands.
Lo regional level, you got one program where to call him the Pacific Humanitarian Warehouse Program, where him supported by Australian government and committee for running support for developing na Pacific Humanitarian Warehouse for each of the countries, developing na humanitarian warehouse capability for each country. So for Solomon Island, you may part of that program, where you may also developing or building now one humanitarian warehouse lo Malaita province, and also through our bilateral relations with them government of Australia, by me also got them to national humanitarian warehouse where I am situated lo Honiara City.
The Pacific Humanitarian Warehousing Program will play a critical role in working with participating countries to strengthen their sovereign capability to procure, store, manage, and distribute humanitarian supplies in times of disaster.
So having some preposition stocks available by enabling governments, Solomon Island with the other Pacific Island countries for able for quickly tap on the preposition stock and immediately respond to different disasters that happen, because whether it's naturally induced or human induced. Yeah? So for make sure that the people blame the suffering alleviated or reduced immediately. Yeah? The fear always you got him time respond low emergency phase is for you know make him go into the secondary phase. Yeah, the secondary phase is where a lot of chaotic situation by him come, where him become complex for what the governments for maintain him, and by him usually the very expensive exercise when you got him a secondary phase low disasters.
The Solomon Islands National Broadband Infrastructure Project continues to extend communication services to rural communities across the country. One of the sites launched in July this year is the new telecommunications tower at Lona in the Russell Islands, Central Province. The development forms part of the government's ongoing broadband rollout aimed at improving mobile and internet connectivity nationwide. Residents in the Russell Islands shared their views on the new tower and its impact on communication in the area.
Network and telecommunication law Russell Island, we feel so privileged that this year we feel got 4 new towers were Solomon Tower and building for people communicate to him. I'm helpful too much for me fellow people lo Russell. Over more than 10 years or 20 years, we feel got only one fella tower no more him. Stay lo yandina.
And make him life a little bit easy for me fella easier. Last time me fella saw Papadol go far away, go lot of spots where network and catch lamps. So that for a time where me for la garem no mo tawalo yandina.
Staka something him come up lo ta communication na side lo FB kan no seme. And this time me for la para happy for sem him easy lo me for la for communicate go lo ta far away place.
But this time para him good him easy. Him easy to mas no mata. Below here, but another friend from below there, me have a talk with him. And now this time, me happy to much that time.
The business world this time, I mean, the telecommunication is important to us. So rural people were so lucky to have this opportunity given to us. for communicate with them people in and around and abroad, so as to help the farmers too for selling local products.
Sit down no more house na this time. No move around. Time go out, go fishing with him. Man karem go phone, go with him. Time karem could catch kam lo si. Wanem ba em duim no mana. Ring kam lo family no say oh ready go moto na. Good fish na mi karem kam na ya. Last time mi follow no sabe duim kaina.
Lo mi follow lo rasol na west rasol long yeah maybe I am a little bit difficult to say no communication but so far lo mi follow lo central local and east bara bagutu mas na side lo communication lo tawa what this wakem
start on top go sem tawa ya every tawa otal lim kamya tat narasait go kasem nuk fero pato sem him no master good lo ya sama place no mo sem em katsolo hem
Sida place no ma atagarim ani to catchment lo here so if I need them staka places for potom tawa mo became fasa no for fine sida no ma then you just talk no ma with them whoever you like to talk with them
despite me garim to for fall no tawa some fala communities so kota no catch good to maslu hem especially kota those one stay no kota islands here kota no lo west side west rasol network I'm not really kasemota good to just some fala patlo village no side scene no so
mobile banking was sometimes easy for me fala na if me fala staka me fala register ota sim phone lo me fala mobile banking but I am hard for me fala sabe doing saving because of network catchment him hard it so me fala need him staka tawas for cinema pumlo ta island me fala make him network him free for me fala no kain golo place of Yandina, but still doing me too, yeah. Finding place for savings kind.
That was feedback from residents in the Russell Islands on the new Lona Tower, one of the several sites commissioned under the Solomon Islands National Broadband Infrastructure Project. Moving on to regional news, 27 seasonal workers from Vanuatu have been banned from returning to Australia and New Zealand after leaving their jobs. The Daily Post reports they were detained for offences including domestic violence, drunk driving and assault. Police also found some had overstayed contracts or lost their visas. The workers now face bans of up to 5 years. Papua New Guinea's population has surpassed the 10 million mark, according to the final figures from the 2024 population census released by the country's Statistics Office. The census figures also reveal that there are more males than females, representing approximately 110 males for every 100 females. Welcome back in sports. The Solomon Islands national men's football team now goes into training this week with preparations on the Prime Minister's Cup in Papua New Guinea. The final team list should be confirmed by the end of the week for those travelling for the tournament.
Yeah, we've had a 3-week window to work with the boys after Brisbane. Basically a carbon copy of what we did before Brisbane. So we worked a lot on defending basically without the ball, and now this camp's just been a little bit more about being a little bit cleaner in possession and creating more opportunities going forward. So no, it's been all right. It's been obviously had its challenges. Very difficult to kind of manage the boys, in and out of the S League. But this is the full week that we've got now, with the S League finished. So very thankful to have the boys in full time and just to be able to refocus them for Papua New Guinea next week. So at the moment we've still got about 23, 24 players. It'll be cut down to 20 by the end of this week, and then we're flying to Papua New Guinea on Monday with our first game against New Caledonia on Thursday, I believe it is the 14th. Have a 1-day rest only, and then we get on a plane and head to Lae and play in the new stadium, or I think the refurbished stadium against Papua New Guinea's senior men's team, which will be an amazing experience again.
Solomon Islands became champions in 2023 when New Caledonia was host nation. PNG became champions in 2024, beating Fiji in Honiara, Papua New Guinea with their second title. Solomon Islands senior men's side has been challenged for not having enough competition game time, but the senior men's side is in good form as training continues.
Yeah, I think it's always a struggle, right? Especially when we've got players coming back from Australia that haven't played a match since, some of them since August. And obviously the S League as well. Yes, they're playing lots of matches, but I wouldn't say it's at the same intensity as international football. It can't be. So Sinis have done a fantastic job, for us. They work alongside some strength and conditioning and sports scientists that we've got in Australia, helping to program for the boys and basically top them up. So yeah, I think they're at a good level. We're definitely a lot fitter and a lot stronger, than we've been previously. But like I said, it's difficult to replicate, matches, and that's what we really struggle with. We can play internal matches, we can play, against select S League teams, but it's not the same, And I think, that's where I'm really trying to push, the opportunity to bring more support and more funds in to be able to bring teams like Brisbane, to be able to play against, Asian countries. We really need, more matches, against strong opposition to actually increase the level and push the boys further. And I think that's probably, what we struggle with the most, at senior men's national team level, and to be fair, the women's as well. I think when we've got the under-19s, we've got the under-16s, we can always fabricate, stronger games for them against, older opposition. But the men's national team is hard. So, that first game against New Caledonia will be a massive test. We've definitely improved since we played them last, but they have as well. They've been playing against European, opposition in the build-up. They go into intercontinental playoff for the World Cup very soon. So I'm expecting them to be, right at the top of this MSG.
The Solomon Islands national team, both men's and women's football teams, are now in camp and will leave for Port Moresby next week. And that concludes our Tavuli News Bulletin for today. I'm Ursula Nongebatu. Thanks for watching.